Hey YouTube, welcome to another Valkyrie Connect video. My name is Hakeo, and in this video I'll be going over a more budget variant of the Angrboda fight for those players who don't have the premium healers or any of the optimal units necessary. Keep in mind that this is more of a budget variant. It doesn't mean that you can just shortcut everything and expect to win against Angrboda. Farming Angrboda allows you to get her tokens, which you can use to purchase either more of her souls or her SP weapon. Her SP weapon deals fire magic damage towards the nearest enemy roll while applying fear for 2 turns. What you see in front of you is the item at max level as well as max skill. Angrboda has 2 sets of crystals, a magic roll set and a range roll set. The first set of crystals gives her a magic shield as well as a magic attack up and quick for 2 turns. The second set of crystals applies Flame Field to all heroes in the Connect and deals magic damage as well as fear for 3 turns to the nearest unit. Keep in mind that fear only applies to Aesir's humans and Therians. Angrboda has 2 sets of skills, the first being her action skill, the second set being her auto skill. The action skill deals fire magic damage to the 3 nearest enemies and applies fear for 3 turns to all enemies. Keep in mind again, fear applies to humans and Therians, and the auto skill deals magic damage and burns for 6 turns plus Eclipse Field to all heroes in the Connect battle, and the burn effect applies to all races. There is no restriction there. Next, I'll be going over some example items that you can use in the Connect. I try to keep it as budget friendly as possible while giving you these examples. There's obviously better choices, but for those who don't have the luxury of either spending money in a game or just bad RNG in general, here are some items that you may end up having without knowing that they're pretty useful in the Connect. The first set of items, you have your multi-hitting items. Second set, you have your single target, and the third set, you have armors and accessories that you can use. With the multi-hitting items, you have Stillwater Greatsword, Ice Mirror, Key to Asgard, and Jormungand Bow. Single target, you have Mithril Hatchet, Brave Staff, Valhalla Sword, and Vigrid. The armor and accessories, you have Glacial Cloak, Bangle of Faith, Slayer Ring, and Nordycia Shield. There are other notable items that you can use, things that hit either the nearest X amount of enemies, and also ones that hit the nearest roll would be more ideal, mainly because the front crystals are more problematic than the back crystals. Next up, we'll be going over some example units that you can use in the Connect. We'll start from the tanks to healers to DPS. With the tanks, you can use Aegir, Heimdall, and what's not listed here, I put it in the DPS portion, is Sena. The healers, you can use Balder or Erd. Aegir, Heimdall, and Sena are pretty good choices for this Connect because of their Eclipse Field. Keep in mind that you have to make sure their magic defense is high enough to sustain the incoming damage due to Angrboda being a magic attack type. Balder and Erd are good choices because Balder has Eclipse Field, but his drawback is that he has a lower fire resist. Erd has a high fire resist but does not have Eclipse Field. You can make up for that by adding more magic defense to her and giving her X and SP weapon to either heal the lowest HP unit or herself when she gets pretty low. For DPS, we have Thrud, Fenrir, Lamina, and Sena. Thrud, Fenrir, Lamina, and Sena all have Eclipse Field, making them ideal for this Connect battle. The drawback with Sena is that she's a human and she's going to be feared. You want to make up with the lack of resistance to fear in items. If you can take out the crystals pretty early on, you can focus more on Angrboda. The second set of DPS, we have Art, Freya, Matisse, and Nautica. The heroes in this list all have Eclipse Field besides Nautica. Nautica does not have Eclipse Field. Due to her not having Eclipse Field, you want to make up for it in her magic defense so that she can sustain most of the incoming damage. She's an amazing unit to take out the back crystals pretty early on. I would say Art is one of the best units you can use for this Connect. She has the ability to heal herself through her X and SP. Her costume can hit the first row. She puts up a magic shield for your units, and she also deals decent damage to Angrboda. With all of that, she's a very good utility unit to have on your team. Just to recap everything that we've gone over, taking out the front crystals of Angrboda is essential in beating her, especially with a lower budget team. Taking out the back crystals, if you want to, you can. If not, you can try a DPS racer. For every unit, I suggest you have 1 or 2 items to hit the row or the X amount of nearest enemies, with the rest being single target, high value damaging items, mainly because time will be an issue. If you find yourself surviving without any issues, you can replace some of the defensive items with more DPS type items to help you push through Angrboda's phases quicker, which will allow you to beat it on time. With the unit choices, Art, like I said, is one of the best units you can use in the game, and if Balder is your only healer, it's still doable. You just have to give him items that will help him survive due to his lower fire resist. Another thing to consider while fighting Angrboda is that she is a magic attack unit, meaning that her physical defense is much lower than her magic defense. Using more physical units than magic units may be beneficial to you to try to get that little push to beat it on time. I understand Angrboda is not an easy connect battle, and even with an optimal team, some players cannot beat her on time. You want to make up the lack of optimal units with more ideal or higher level items. I suggest leveling all of your items to around level 40-45 if your team is lacking. And one last thing I want to go over is that if you're not prepared for the encounter and you find yourself only winning about 30-40% of the time, just wait, take a step back, reevaluate your team, level up your gear if you need to, and maybe get her next time when she rotates back into the Connect battle list. And with that, if you like the video, please like the video. If you like this type of content, please subscribe. I'll provide a link to the Discord and Reddit below in the description if you're not involved in the Valkyrie Connect community already. And I will also leave a link to my Twitter if you want to follow me on Twitter to see what's been happening in the JB client as well as what I've been up to in the game. And until next time, guys, take care.